You've chosen the perfect subcompact gun, but is your current holster up to the challenge? Introducing the Lads Gear Subcompact Holster, the perfect holster for your everyday carry. We at Lads Gear have a motto. We want to make gear that is stylish, sturdy, and smart. If you're like me, you might not have thousands of dollars to spend on the latest tactical gear, even if you'd like to. So we produce the Lads Gear Holster System for guys like you and guys like me who need quality gear that does a lot of things well. With our Lads Gear Holster System, you can buy one holster that allows you to carry in all of the popular styles: inside the waistband, outside the waistband, pocket carry. And not only that, one holster can be customized to fit most or all of your guns. There's really nothing like it on the market right now. You know, maybe this isn't the holster for special ops, but it is the holster for comfortable daily ops. And this helps us achieve our goal of making individuals and families more resilient, one cool product at a time. Let's take a look at what we have in this Lads Gear Holster System box. All right. So here's what you get when the box arrives. Let's get this out of here. And I would like to note that every time you get a box or a bag from Lads Gear, it's going to be labeled to tell you exactly what is in the box or bag. We want you to enjoy the process. We want you to understand how the system works, and we try to make this as understandable as possible. We also include, for your convenience, a slicer, which will make sense in a moment. There's a lot of stuff we got to break into here, so we'll get back to that in just a moment. All right, when you get into this, you'll find that there's going to be 4 bags. These each represent a different kit that makes the holster system work. We're going to start with the holster kit and look at what's included there. And then once we've done that, we'll look at the inside the waistband kit, the pocket carry kit, and the outside the waistband kit, which of course are the most popular ways to carry a firearm. All right, let's get this open and take a look. All right, so lots of accessories here, and of course, the most important thing is the actual holster. We're going to take our slicer and get into this thing, and there we have it, the Lads Gear holster. All right, let's first look at what the pocket carry system looks like for the Lads Gear holster. These are all of the parts that come with the holster system. A few of these we're going to need before we can really jump into the pocket carry stuff, so let's examine that now. All right, before we get into the pocket carry system or any of the styles of carry, one of the things that we want to learn how to do uses the accessories from our holster kit. The first thing is we want to make sure that the gun is seated properly. So by seated properly, you want to find where the gun fits in the holster in the right place. So there's plenty of room for you to get a good purchase. You're not fighting with the holster, and you want it to stop there every single time. The way that we do that is by use of the trigger guard stop. And what happens is the gun goes into the holster, and the trigger guard stop is positioned right there. So it stops the gun in that location every time. So for that purpose, we're going to put it in, and we're going to find out where that stops. Looks like it's about right there. Now, this might take a couple of tries to get it just right. We're fine-tuning this to your specific preferences, but we'll try that right there, see how it does. Well, let's move it down and back just a little bit. Now, that looks about right. All right, so we have it seated just where we want it. Now, we want to adjust the tension. Now, I will say, when pocket carrying a weapon, I generally like a really loose retention because it's already in your pocket. You're unlikely to lose the gun from the holster and your pocket, but you want to make sure that the gun doesn't draw with the holster. So a light retention is good. But let's just take a look at the mechanism that we have for changing the retention. This is called the lower tensioner. And when this is affixed in the bottom of the holster, what you'll find is you can change the retention and cause the holster to hold the gun much more securely. All right, I did want to mention this accessory. This is called the top tensioner. And much like the lower tensioner that creates retention and tensile strength in the holster, the top tensioner is for cases where perhaps you want to insert it in the top of the holster because you're using a gun that is a little bit small for this holster and you need to fill space. Or maybe you just want a more rigid holster and you want some more substance in there. We'll talk more about this later, but I did want to explain what that was. All right, let's talk about the pocket carry system. There's a couple of ways that holster manufacturers create pocket carry holsters. One way that we are in fact utilizing at Lads Gear is having a clingy or sticky fabric. We have a neoprene fabric that is infused with Kevlar that's almost indestructible, and it sticks to the inside of the pocket or even the inside of the waistband if you're carrying it that way. There's other things you can do as well to ensure that the holster will never draw with the gun when the gun is retracted from the holster and pocket. One of those ways is the hook. Now, the way that this works is it affixes to the holster, and you can see that it creates a hook right here on the holster. It can also be utilized at the bottom of the holster. The purpose of this hook is so that when it's in your pocket and you draw the gun, if the holster tries to draw with the gun, the hook catches the edge or the lip of your pocket and keeps the holster in the pocket while the gun is drawn. Again, this is utilized both here or here. All of our holsters and systems are fully ambidextrous, so you could just switch it to the other side depending on your use. All right, another tool that is utilized for pocket carry is the thumb press. This is a simple tool, but very, very useful. This tool goes on the holster in this fashion. When the holster is in the pocket, you can discreetly grab the weapon and unseat it with the thumb release or the thumb press, and that way you know that the gun is going to draw without the holster coming with it. And it allows for much faster draws when it's already unseated that much and you have a firm purchase on the gun. Now, we've discussed the various mechanisms for pocket carry that keep the holster in the pocket while you're drawing. And of course, with our patented system, you can use these accessories together. You could, in fact, have both of these accessories and, of course, the sticky neoprene shell all in use and functioning properly while using it in your pocket. All right, another popular means of carry is the inside the waistband carry. There's a whole kit for that. There's a couple of accessories from the holster kit that we need to get to first so that this system is fully utilized and properly utilized. So let me introduce you to those now. All right, this is the reholster accessory, the upper reholster accessory, and this is the lower reholster accessory. The way that these are used is they are inserted into the holster and fastened to the loop liner. You'll notice that there is a lot of hook surface area exposed here. This is part of what makes this system so ingenious. By making the liner of the holsters the loop product, which wicks moisture, it cushions the gun, protects the gun, makes it very, very comfortable, is also a fabulous attachment substrate when coupled with the hook portion of hook and loop. So we take the reholster device and insert it. We do this for a couple of reasons. Without that, if you're carrying this holster in the waistband under the pressure of the belt, when the gun is withdrawn, the belt will crush it, making reholstering difficult. The reholster device overcomes that. All right, so I've removed some of the accessories we put on earlier, the trigger guard stop and the lower tensioner, because we're now installing the upper reholster and the lower reholster. Now, one thing I'd like to draw your attention to, as mentioned earlier, there is a lot of surface area of hook and a lot of surface area of loop. Our holsters are incredibly modular, and they're designed for you to change how you use them, the guns that you change them with, the style of carry. And what we have found is that when this is fastened inside the holster, it is very, very hard to unfasten it, which is a good thing, of course. Any accessory fastened inside the holster, you want it to be very sturdy. But what we've provided for you is what we call the easy release system. This is fastened to the upper reholster device, and its purpose, quite simply, is to lessen the surface area of hook so that when you or if you choose to remove this when you're customizing your holster in new ways, it comes out just a little bit more easily. All right, so let me show you how this is inserted in the holster. So you're going to take your insertion swatch, which is this fabric, satin fabric that's very, very slick, and you're going to cover it all the way up to the shoulders of the accessory. You're going to take your holster and you're going to insert this all the way down again until the shoulders are just barely inside. Now you're going to want to make sure that it is lined up center on the holster, and furthermore, the rest of the tail you're going to want to be centered along this top ridge as well. Once you have that in place, you're going to close this tab over top to hold it there. And then making sure that this stays center on the holster, you're going to begin to pull out the insertion swatch. And as it pulls out, you're going to fasten it fully to the top of the holster. Just like that. All right. So now we have the reholster device fastened in the holster, and you can see how it holds the holster open in this fashion. What we want to do now is cut off the excess tail on the device. We do this because all of our accessories are fully interchangeable with all of our holsters, regardless of size. And so this is the one thing that you tailor to your specific holster. So we pull this down and we unfasten the easy release device, and we go up in there as far as we can. If we can get a 1/4 inch or so, that'd be great. And we snip that off. We finish fastening the upper reholster along that front edge now that the hook is exposed, and we cut it flush. The reason we do that is because we want to make sure that there's a nice tight adhesion of the hook and loop on that front edge. All right, now that we have the reholster device installed, we want to finish the last few pieces. One thing I want to mention before we move on is the upper tensioner. You might notice that this looks very much like the reholster device, except it's not curved. It doesn't have a rigid insert. As mentioned before, this is really a spacer. It's to help if you have a gun that is a little small for your holster. It fills up some space. It offers a little more rigidity to your holster if you wanted a slightly higher tensile strength to your holster. And it is going to be, if used, inserted in the exact same way as we just described. It would go in, you'd pull the insertion swatch, and it would be fastened. Now, having said that, we're not going to install that. We've already put the upper reholster device in, and we're going to move on and install the lower reholster device. This is going to go in the very bottom of the holster like this. And again, its purpose is to be sure that the holster is held open and it's easy access for your weapon when reholstering. All right. Now, for our final step, we're going to want to, again, make sure that we seat the gun properly. So once it's inserted, we can see that the trigger guard stops about right there. So let's put our trigger guard stop in and see if we can get this pegged on the first try. Not too bad. All right, let's look at the inside the waistband kit. Let's see what we have in this bag. All right. With the inside the waistband kit, you're going to get another thumb release, which we've already discussed. And most importantly, you're going to get the belt clip. So the belt clip serves this purpose. Inside the waistband, you can carry in many ways. You can carry strong side, you can carry appendix, you can carry cross straw. The belt clip provides this functionality. If you're carrying, for instance, strong side, you can merely change the cant so that your pant goes into this slot so that the holster doesn't press down, and the belt goes into this slot so that the holster doesn't pull out, firmly affixing the holster in exactly the location and cant of your choosing. And then, of course, as you go to or move to other locations on the body, you would simply change the location of the belt clip to suit that purpose. All right, let's talk about the outside the waistband carry, the third of the most popular ways to carry, which of course was pocket, inside the waistband, and now outside the waistband. So let's open up the outside the waistband kit and see what we've got. We're going to start with the morale patch that's provided for you. We'll show you where that goes in just a moment. And let's see what we have in this bag. All right, let's take a look at the outside the waistband platform. So I'm going to show you each of the parts that make this platform up and how they work. This is the top strap. You'll notice that this has hook on one side, loop on the other. All of our parts have not only enjoy adhesion, but also stitching. We make these incredibly robustly so that the chance of failure is very, very, very small. Inside, we have what we call the outside the waistband wrap. You'll notice that it's made of the same neoprene, Kevlar infused neoprene material that our holsters are made of. We do this for a number of reasons. Among them is the fact that when we put this system together for the outside the waistband and we wrap these up, these two neoprene faces are very, very clingy, especially when they're fastened to each other, and it wants to hold the holster in exactly that location. All right, I'm gonna disassemble this just partially so that you can see the rest of the features that we have in this system, and we'll put it back together and show you precisely how it works. So you notice that I pulled these out. We call these the stabilizers or lower stabilizers. I'll show you what they do in just a moment. What we want to do at this point is we want to find out where precisely we want our holster to reside on the platform. And there's various options for this. I mean, again, our system is so incredibly customizable. You could potentially, for instance, put a little bit of a cant on this. You could leave it at 90%. That's the way we'll set it up now. But there's just so many options. It's really limited almost just to your imagination. What we want to do now, however, is use these stabilizers to make sure our holster goes in exactly the right place and stays there permanently. Now, on the platform, you'll notice that we have hook here and loop there. The stabilizers are designed for this purpose. We're going to fasten the loop side to the platform, and then we're going to fasten the hook side to the holster. And on the bottom, we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to put it just like that. And that way, we know that that holster is going to stay in exactly that location, and it is, in fact, fully stabilized. Now, let's pull these off temporarily. We're going to weave this back through like it was initially and get a nice firm pull down there. Weave it back through like this and back up, and we're going to once again put our stabilizers back in the location they just were. We're going to wrap this up really tight, and then we're going to take our top strap and cinch it down. And of course, the piece de resistance is the morale patch right there on your outside the waistband lads gear holster.